Okay. Anybody here? Let's see. Watch now. Oh my god, there's nobody here. Fuck. Alright. Well, I'm gonna put on this video, I guess. And go rinse off, because I'm filthy. I'm a filthy animal. Know what I mean? Air conditioning came on, I'm like freezing because my body temperature is so high right now. Oh, I gotta make this chest move first. Shit. Fine. Hey Siri, set a timer for 3 hours.
Okay, your timer is set for 3 hours.
Okay. Thank you, Siri. Know what I mean? Whoa. Brr. Shit. I gotta do logins. Damn it. I need to shower though. I gotta rinse this off me. Damn it, Janet. Yep. Hope this guy got more followers. Okay. Wonderful Willow. Hey, Bloop. Oh, wait. Is there an ad break? Sorry, I'm dying. Literally, clitorally dying. I'm actually deceased right now. I just can't tell. Never use that, never use that. Okay, I gotta plug this in. Okay. 63%. So welcome back from potential ad break. I don't know if you heard me. I don't think you get ads right away though when you join the stream. I think it takes 5 minutes. But maybe. I don't know. Oh. So I was saying that I need to go rinse off because I'm foul. So I'm gonna go rinse off and then go from there. I'm so tired right now. I'm exhausted. I'm so exhausted. What was I doing? I gotta log out of this thing and log into the other one. You know what I mean? Of course you do. Wait, which ones do I have here? There's Willow Brillo and what? Pillows, maybe? Did I already do Armadillo? Was Armadillo in here earlier? Getting naked and wet before bed? Yes, please. Yeah, I do need to. I did a lot of flirting, which made me kind of wet and turned me on to flirt with people. But I need to get a different kind of wet now. I think I already did this. I guess I'll check it. Fuck it, right? Let's check it. I don't remember what order I was going in. Alright, I already did it. That's what I thought. So we'll do wispy bots. Wispy bots. Wispy bots. Wispy bots. So what? This is Brillo and Pillows. So then I'll do Vanilla and Chillo. And Wispy Bot can be over here. Great. You agree with that analysis? Bloop-a-loop? Great. That's great. That's totally great. So great. So, I was saying that my videos did, looks like kind of mostly got saved from the Grand Prix. They weren't really like working very well, but they were kind of there. So I reviewed the videos, and it looks like you can actually see some stuff and hear some stuff. So you can check those out if you want. Yep, all good. Good. I do need to rinse though, at least. I don't know if I should wash my hair again, considering I washed my hair this morning, but strangely, even though the high today was like, I don't know, really high, it was like 96 or something, 97, I don't know. Tomorrow the high is going to be 72. I don't know why, because it was supposed to be warmer, but now the high is only going to be 72 tomorrow. So I don't think a bikini top is in order. I'll probably have to wear like actual clothing. I might still wear a skirt, but I don't know. I don't often cover my legs that much, but I'd rather wear a crop top. But if I wear a crop top and a skirt, I'm probably going to be cold. So, yep, don't know. It'll probably still be sunny and the sun's warm, so I don't know. I'll think of something. So, feel free to review those. Excuse me, the videos. I look really silly in a lot of them. I look pretty ridiculous, actually. I'm like, ew, really? Why does my face look like that? But that's how it looks, apparently, in the videos. Not a very good phone streamer. So, I guess I won't shave my legs again because I just shaved them this morning, right? So, I think what I'll do tonight is just wash my hair because it's like sweaty and sticky. And I can do some touch-up shaving tomorrow if I want to. Or something. I might just rinse it. I might just rinse my hair. I don't know. I guess I should wash it. I don't fucking know. I don't know what to do. Actual clothing? Oh, I know. It was fun just wearing the bikini top. I got a lot of attention. And it was fun getting attention. It looked cute, so it was good. It was a good outfit. But now, I'm gonna have to like, I don't think I want to wear jeans though. That seems like that's too much. I probably will wear a skirt. Maybe just like a little bit of a heavier skirt or something. I could wear that skirt with that crop top I wore. But it might be too cold. Because the problem is like, yeah, it's gonna be a high of 72, but that's gonna be at like, 2 or 3 p.m. Before that, it's gonna be in the 60s. And then after that, once the sun goes down, it's also gonna be in the 60s, which isn't cold. It could go further than 60s, but it'll be a little uncomfortable, perhaps. So, It's hard to plan accordingly. But I guess I could dress slutty and then bring like a shirt to put over it if I get too cold. Or just wear a bikini just straight up. I should probably be fine. Yeah, I'll just wear a bikini. It'll be fine. Okay, so this is here. This is doing that. Okay, good. Alright, let's see here. I guess we should do our Wordle. I don't think we did a Wordle today because, you know, we didn't do it. And that's excuse me, that's about all there is to it. Tired. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's stick with cough. That's fine. Wrecked him. Damn near killed him. You like that? Wrecked him. God, my back and shoulders and legs are just aching. Like, I don't want to stand in the shower. But I can't sleep like this. I'm like grimy. I gotta rinse this off. Oh my god, but I can hardly move. Who's texting me? Jerry took 1,365 photos today. Unfortunately, I don't think I have enough information to make a guess yet. Doesn't look like it. So, we'll go with plans. That's my plan. Okay, that's helpful. So, scare. Could be scare. Or probably scare. I'm not seeing much else. Reeks. Can't start with C. C. Oh. Nope. Probably just scare. Splendid. Splendid work, everyone. Splendid. Thank you for your participation. It was wonderful. scared. You think it's scare again? Let's see. Nope, not this time. Grope? It could be grope. Sure, why not? I want to get groped. Let's go. Grope me, everyone. Oh. The fuck? Grove? I guess it could be Grove instead. Grobe, grom, groan, goach, groke, growl. Growy, gross. Duh. Alright, on that note, I'm leaving. All these. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even get to see this.
My fingers and I do this to make a living. We're too busy to do taxes.
I love doing taxes for self.
That's great, bro. The fuck are you guys doing, man? Just play the video from here. You gotta be weird about it. Why you gotta be weird about it?
Welcome back, everyone, to Day 3 of the 2016 Smite World Championships presented by Xbox One. Only 4 teams remain in the competition. Give it up for Paradigm, Enemy, Epsilon, and the returning champions, Cloud9. Later on, we will have the Xbox Invitational Best of 3, but first we have 2 Best of 5s, which is Enemy versus Paradigm. Give it up for them, guys! All right, let's go to the analysts.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Alienware Analyst Desk. Of course, it has been a fun time here at the Smite World Championships 2016. I'm Golden Boy, joined by Adonis, Incon, and fresh out of his graduation at Hogwarts, the one and only Ataraxia. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing pretty good, but I am very curious as to what people think about this. You know, is this working for Golden Boy? Can he do better, guys? What do you think?
Listen here, I got booed yesterday, okay?
Yeah, I guess.
And I found the guy who booed me.
Oh.
Okay? It was a warm embrace, all right? And it got really awkward really fast because it was like really just uncomfortable for both of us. But with that being said, enough about your failed adventure into the land of mystery and magic. Let's actually go right into the bracket and talk about what we have in store for today. We have Paradigm. There's going to be one more, by the way. You just never know when it's going to come. We have Paradigm versus Enemy today to kick things off. And then, of course, the last match of the day, the one that people, I mean, I've asked so many people in this building. I was walking around yesterday and I said, who do you think is going to win the Cloud9 Epsilon matchup? Got a lot of Cloud9s, but they said they wouldn't be surprised if Epsilon won. So it's going to be tough, Adonis.
I mean, these games are so competitive. This is probably the most competitive Smite tournament we've ever seen. I mean, it's so hard to call both these matches, and a lot of it's going to come down to who shows up today, right?
Yeah.
You know, Epsilon and Cloud9 are the teams that I'd say are very consistent all the time. They're always playing at the highest levels. Paradigm and Enemy both have shown that they can play at those levels, although it's not always there. Are they both going to show up today, and who's going to come out on top and pick some bands?
That's right. And of course, folks, another thing to remember about will be the Xbox competition that will be taking place today. The boys in blue, Envy, are going to face off against Eager in what could surely be only called a slobber knocker of a matchup. That's going to be a good one. Incon, I know your boys are there, and I talked to Allied yesterday, my co-host from last year, and he's pretty excited, right?
The boys are feeling very confident. You know, they put in so much work to transfer from the PC to the Xbox. They had a very short amount of time to do so, and they have scrimmed Eager quite a bit prior to this tournament, and they are very ready and very sure that it's going to be a quick couple of games.
Yeah.
I mean, now they don't have Incon to, you know, hold them back anymore.
Ooh,
so they're,
oh my
they're
God.
gonna win, of course.
Whoa. Okay, you
They
need
have
to
to
relax.
start
In-
Omega,
Incon-
you know, Omega instead of
Incon,
Incon.
it's too early, okay, and Incon is a treasure, okay? He may
national
have,
treasure?
He may not a global icon national treasure like myself, but he's a treasure. He's a treasure. I mean, listen, he may wear the same shirt 5 days in a row, but don't judge him.
It's not the same shirt.
He actually switched this time. I made fun of how much he smelled yesterday. so they Envy overnighted him a new one. So
Yeah,
you know, 'cause
leave it to
it was
Hastro to
getting
take
real
care
bad.
of his boys.
A third day in a row would have been rough.
Oh, man. Okay, so, guys, we have a great matchup lined up for the first game. Enemy versus Paradigm. It has been a story for Enemy. You know, the question that was asked was, how many teams do Enemy need to beat before people take them seriously, before people respect them? But standing in their way, Paradigm. And these guys look fantastic. But let's actually talk about Enemy first and foremost here. And you know what? Let's actually introduce you guys to Enemy in case you haven't seen them yet, or you're just joining us for the first time at the Smite World Championships. Here's Enemy.
They told me to sit down.
I always want to have my daughter seeing me in my strongest self.
Be nice.
Throughout high school, I experienced a lot of eating disorders.
Be quiet.
When I found out that I had cancer, I knew that I was going to have to be really strong for my kiddies.
Be happy.
In my culture, women have their place.
It's not possible. Just accept it. You're too weak. Too delicate.
Too fat, too muscly.
Take it easy.
Who's going to want to marry you if you're muscly?
Don't kid yourself. It's too far, too much, too soon.
People wanted me to tuck up in bed for 6 months and
You're too ambitious.
cry.
You've got responsibilities.
It's been the most special
What about your career?
part of my life.
Don't eat
I
that.
was definitely looking at myself as
You
a
can't
person.
take it. You don't get it. You won't make it.
Never did I expect
You
to be as
can't
strong as I am
do
today.
that. Let me explain. You're pretty fast for a lady. Pretty strong for a lady. Just chill. Just listen. It's not your place. Not for a lady. You're not made for this. You're too muscular.
I can't.
Petite, feminine, emotional, crazy, loud.
Be a strong woman.
Woman. You know what? I guess I couldn't hear them over the music.
Enemy. So
just donning red enemy. And actually, it's Vedium's birthday today. Everyone in the building sang Vedium happy birthday, which is pretty cool. Ataraxia, that was nice.
Yeah, I heard Paradigm, very EU welcoming and warming. They got him a birthday gift, and I hear it's going to be 3rd and 4th place finish at the SWC.
Ooh. Yo, you have no chill. Like just zero chill.
To be fair, you started off with Harry Potter once again.
I did. I very much did so. Well, so I asked Scott Gandhi yesterday if I could actually do like a Doctor Who reference, and he said that no, because Ataraxia doesn't deserve a Doctor Who reference.
Wow.
Ooh. That wasn't me, by the way. That was Gandhi.
Gandhi.
And
come
we
on,
all
dude.
know he's a horrible human being. So
before I would have defended him, but now Gandhi. Horrible human.
Horrible man.
The
horrible
worst.
Man.
Just the worst.
See, I wanted to give you a Doctor Who reference. Okay, so let's talk about this squad. Obviously, super talented and comes with a great story for this event. Incon, we'll start over with you. You have a lot of familiarity competing against this team. This matchup's not going to be easy for them by any means.
No, this matchup's not going to be easy for either team. For Enemy, though, it's really going to come down to picks and bans. That's been their strongest point coming through, starting at Super Regionals all the way through here at Worlds. Their picks and bans are incredibly strong, and they need to continue through with that. But it's going to be hard against Paradigm, who plays such strange characters like warrior supports.
And, it's not even just their picks and bans. It's how well they execute their compositions. Because not only do they draft phenomenally, but they also play to the strengths. A lot of teams, they'll draft an early game composition and kind of just sit there and not really take advantage of it. Enemy, they know when they're running late game, and they'll just play super passively, allow other teams to make mistakes, and fight into them. And that's what we see from them typically is a lot of mid and late game designed compositions.
Now, what I want to know is Enemy, they play these strong meta comps, and, I think drafting is by far being their strongest point, and, as you said, playing the draft perfectly. But Paradigm, if any team in the top 4 is going to play unconventional stuff, it's going to be Paradigm. So how much do Paradigm actually care about these meta drafts, and can Enemy, with the regular picks, can they actually deal with what Paradigm are going to throw at them?
I think those first couple of games will really be detrimental to seeing how this is going down. It's going to be if Enemy's picks come on base and they're like, wow, we couldn't deal with their picking ban phase, then I think we might see more conventional picks coming out of Paradigm. But on the flip side, if Paradigm's crazy picks work, we might see a lot of target bans coming out of Enemy in order to deal with it.
And what I think is going to be most highlighted probably in the Soul Lane, Salt Machine versus Zalia. And so far this tournament, we've seen a lot of Jingten versus Bologna. That's the name of the game. But, both of these teams have been very willing to ban away Jingten, and I also think we could see some Bologna bans as well, and maybe some switch-ups. And we know Salt Machine is fantastic on those two gods. However, how deep can his god pool go? We've seen him play the Guan against the Hades and actually win the matchup, but Zalia isn't someone who's going to lose these matchups that he shouldn't, and Zalia is the one willing to play the Isis, the Chuck, something off-kilter. So I think maybe Paradigm making Salt Machine uncomfortable could be a pretty good look for them.
And this is Zalia's playstyle, He is the one who goes for the counter matchups. He will bring out the crazy stuff just to win lane, like Power Pot Isis and all this other janky stuff. Power Pot Shark was a pick he used to like to do against Bologna specifically. Whether he still does, I don't know. But if someone is going to come out of all the way to throw someone off the game, I absolutely think it's going to be Zalia.
Something to bring up here is that yesterday versus Pain, Enemy banned out Jingten both times. First ban, right? So that is going to come immediately. But in their matchup against Fnatic, as a matter of fact, they opted not to ban out Jingten. Instead, they picked them up, which is crazy because it was their 3rd pick. I do not see Jingten making it that far into the draft. It's definitely either first ban or potentially even a first pick, the way we saw Bologna go pretty much every round yesterday.
Based on how successful he's been, especially in the later half when we've seen the more competitive matches, early in the tournament it seemed to be, ban away the Jingten, or even if they're both open, get the Bologna, because a lot of teams want us to run those aggro-style compositions. But now, heading into this tournament, into the more competitive matches where games are going later, and, the Jingten is doing so much more work than the Bologna against the opponent's backlines, I think, Jingten, if he makes it past a first pick and he's open, I will be so surprised.
Yeah, honestly, for me, even more so than the particular picks for Solo Lane is what Salt Machine shows up today.
Yes.
Because we have seen the Salt Machine that doesn't rotate, and we've seen the one that does rotate. And that is the difference between winning and losing games for Enemy Esports right now, is he needs to get over into these fights. When he does, he makes a huge difference because he's so mechanically gifted as a player. But if he's not there, he can't hit his abilities.
Even against Pain, I took note of it, right? Stalker was actually out-rotating him and picking up some kills, and, obviously Enemy was just better than Pain gaming overall, so they're able to overcompensate. But Stalker could have turned those fights. So, you know, Salt Machine, who's showing up, and, you know, both these teams have been inconsistent in the past. You know, Enemy, though, at LAN has been phenomenal.
And Stalker was winning those lanes as well. No, sorry, Salt Machine was winning those lanes, and Stalker was still out-rotating him, which is, you know, that shouldn't happen.
One thing I want to talk about is, you know, kind of this villain role that Payne Deviani has been like owning as of late, kind of enjoying it. Do you think that, you guys are going to like this one, do you think that maybe he needs an attitude adjustment? Shout out to Sozo for that one.
Oh, look at him. He's loving it. I mean, honestly, like, you take a look and, you know, he was kind of vilified by the community. You know, heading from the summer to the fall split, he kicked his entire team. Everyone was gone, and he brought on 4 players, 3 rookies, 1 person who had played a single split in the summer, and that was, you know, one of the star players now in Vedium. But, you know, he said, this is the roster that I think I have the best chance with. And he's proven it, right? So he got vilified, but, you know, obviously he's made the right decision. He's at Worlds. He's at the semifinals against Paradigm right now.
Yeah, and on top of that, you know, that fantastic matchup against Fnatic, which we saw in that best of one.
This play, too.
Yeah, Khepri actually was mentioned, as a matter of fact, that Khepri didn't have 100% participation in picks and bans yesterday, right? So, you know, I'm interested to see how Khepri influences the battle as well.
And Payne Beyond, you know, we've taken note that Khepri and Athena seem to be his primary 2 gods, probably his best 2. However, there was questions on how deep his god pool, though, although he had a pretty solid Bacchus the other day, too.
Yeah, I mean, he's played actually quite a few gods this tournament, so it'll be quite interesting to see what he pulls out this tournament. I wouldn't be surprised, though, to see him go back to that Athena Khepri, at least at the start here of the tournament, for these first couple of games, those comfort picks that he really likes to be aggressive with, and then progressively get into more of the defensive gods like Geb.
All right, folks. So with that being said, excuse me, we have, of course, to talk about the other team, the guys on the other side of the stage that are waiting to battle it out with Enemy, and it's none other than Europe's Paradigm. Hey, I got you on that one. Okay.
Sandwiches shouldn't come from a tanning salon. Ours are Kentucky Fried to order. Paradigm. Zalia. Hugo Fred. Lobster. Briggs Tank. Funballer.
And there you have it. There you see the boys donning black and yellow, the one and only Paradigm. And this squad, you know, talked to Zimstar yesterday at the, you know, juice gathering that Dan Brandon put together, and he is feeling very confident in the team, as he should, because they are the #1 seeded team coming out of Europe, but also just because of their talent. Very, very talented team. And the first player I want to talk about actually is Trix Tank, because this guy, star player for this squad, great support player as well. What does he bring to the table that could give them the edge in this battle against Enemy?
It's his incredibly deep god pool and honestly willingness to break the meta. We saw at Super Regionals against Epsilon, he pulled out Hog, which was thought to be dead by every single player in the Smite scene. And then he, you know, blinks over the wall, or blinks over the wall, steals a red buff, flies out, and, you know, they're able to snowball off there and allow their hell to get to late game. And Trix Tank, that's his style, is be very aggressive and play these warriors that people aren't used to playing against.
For me, though, it can be his biggest strength. This is god pool and these warriors. It can also be his biggest weakness. When he does these crazy strategies like blinking over the wall and hogging, if that doesn't pan out at the start of the game, he could put himself and his team so far behind already. And so it really comes down to that perfect execution that he's been known for.
And what about for you, Atarax here? What do you think about Trix Tank's presence as support and the diversity that he brings to this team?
I've had the opportunity to play a lot against Trix Tank. Coming up to Super Regionals, we were scrim partners, so we got to see the blink hog over the wall. It honestly didn't actually work all that often, really. So I was, you know, when he did it against Epsilon, I was like, oh, is he gonna, you know, how is that gonna go? And he did it against QG, a different version. He went to the purple buff as Guan Yu and then dashed out. So for Enemy, you know, when you look at Trickstank, you can ban out gods and stuff, but can you ban out Hog? Because he is the only player right now who's actually running Hog, and you have to be, you have to respect that, because Hog is an active which can secure everything. Obviously, that's what it's for. But no one practices against him always. It's like the Mercury type ganks, where if you don't practice against it, you're going to fall for it. And it's the same thing with Hog. If he comes to invade and he's like, oh, we forgot he's got Hog. Obviously, they won't, because Trickstank has done it, so they're going to prepare for it. But it's all those, like goal free contests and stuff. You always have to remember that he has Hog, and that is a difficult thing to do when no one runs it.
That's true. You have to be so ready for that Gold Fury. We saw a couple of times where we thought the enemy might get the Gold Fury, and Trickstank actually got it with the Hog. I think that was particularly with an Ice Assault, where we were guaranteed, like, oh, the Ice is going to secure that Gold Fury, and then he didn't, because he came in with the Hog. Stuff like that is incredibly hard to deal with when nobody gets Hog. Who gets Hog right now? It's not even good. But all of a sudden, Trickstank's like, no, Hog is the best right now. And if you get the Gold Fury, it's worth.
Interesting stuff. Now, of course, we'll see how that pans out for Trickstank, but then another player to talk about, and again, another star player for this team, another super talented, the ever so versatile Azalea. This guy is just so good, can run a variety of gods in his lane. Adonis, we'll kick it off to you. What do you think about what Azalea brings to the table here?
I mean, Azalea just brings such a dominant lane presence and phenomenal team fighting ability, and I think this is, if there's going to be fireworks in a lane, it's going to be in the solo. Salt Machine versus Azalea. Both these players incredibly confident in themselves, borderline cocky, but they deserve it. They always win their lane almost every single time. They play matchups phenomenally. And, this direct matchup, who gets Bologna, who gets Jing, or are they both going to be banned out? This could be a dynamic, if one can get ahead of the other, could just be the important 5v4 team fight, because the other solo laners are so far behind.
As I said before, Azalea is the guy who is, he's going to find a way to break meta picks. And Salt Machine, all we see is meta picks. So, the Paradigm, I feel, have the advantage in this matchup in particular, because they have so many ways they can play this. They can ban out the Xingqian and the Bologna, and then see what Salt Machine has to run with, whatever he's left. Has he got some backup that he's going to be comfortable with outside of those two? On the other hand, they can also just leave them open, and then Zayli can bring out a counter, which he has been known to do very well. So how is Salt Machine nervous about this matchup? Is this something that he can deal with, some off-key picks that Zayli could bring out?
Honestly, if I'm Salt Machine right now, I am looking at Azalea. I'm like, pull out your chalk. Just do it. Go for you can have it. I'll give it to you. No problems. Give me Bologna. Give me the Xing 10, because North America loves their meta picks, and we love it because it works.
Yeah, well, it makes sense, but I mean, let's be honest here, right? At this level of the competition, either both of them make it through or neither of them make it through, right? It just depends. You could potentially see, like, as we saw throughout the day, Xing 10 getting banned out, and then, first pick goes Bologna, which has happened quite a bit, and you saw the impact that had in solo lane, right? Like, Bologna was just, it's so dominant there, and anyone who'd try to get, like, I would say, unique god pick to try and, like, counter that, oftentimes has failed. So, if Chalk does come up, I mean, I don't think that will win out against the Bologna. What do you think of that?
In the direct matchup, probably not. I mean, Chalk is a safe laner, but Bologna just does so much more in team fights right now. Although you can, that's the thing too, right? If you take a look and think about Hog specifically, and if Paradigm are going to try and run, a very objective style team composition, Chalk that massive silence on his ultimate, which, people don't really factor in all the time, it's going to make it much harder to contest them. So, I mean, that's a team composition, a strategy we haven't really seen any team run, but it's always been there, right? Use the Chalk, silence people out, allow Trickstank to secure the objectives with Hog, and just get so far ahead and snowball off objectives. That could be something that enemy has to watch out for.
And then, of course, the last player that we're going to talk about here is Cuvo, the jungler for this squad. Again, you keep saying the word talented because they're here. They're at the Smite World Championships in the top 4, and they certainly do deserve this. We'll go over to you, Atarax. Your thoughts on Cuvo and what he's going to bring to this team, and does he go for the Assassins?
I absolutely love Cuvo. He is an amazingly talented player, and on LAN, I cannot remember the last time I saw him have a bad game. I think that he is in the unfortunate position that he is overshadowed by adapting, because everyone loves to sing praises to adapting, and rightly so, he's very good. But I think as far as the rock on Paradigm goes, the one he plays the consistent meta picks. He is the stable one on the team who always does well. And for me, at the SWC and Super Regionals, QVO has been on fire. And he is, in my opinion, he is the danger man for the set, if someone is going to get Paradigm ahead and steamroll these games, it will be QVO on his signature Thor.
I agree. Cubo is one of the strongest players in the world. That's why he's here. And like you said, you know, he often gets overshadowed in Europe by adapting, but he's mechanically so great. He does not make mistakes. I can't recall the last time I saw him even miss a double tap on Thor. These kind of things coming out for him, just so incredibly gifted, and I'm really looking towards him to carry.
Do you think that they focus on Cuvo potentially ban out Thor? You know, there are other things to ban out, but like you had said before, right? This guy never has a bad game, so maybe taking him off of his comfort pick and putting him onto something where he has to adapt could be the case. I don't know, Adonis, what do you think?
I think Cubo's Godful is pretty deep, and I'm assuming he's been practicing some other picks that, you know, we haven't really seen. You know, we've been talking about the Mercury here. We haven't seen it too much, but I think in these two best of fives today, we're going to be seeing a lot of Mercury, as well as, you know, maybe some even spicier picks. I heard some Ao Kwong in scrims. I mean, it might have just been experimentation, but hey, you never know.
In ranked, QVO has been known to play a couple of spicy picks. Mercury, Ao Kwong, he did love that for a time. Hopefully that's translated to scrims and it's done well, because I would love to see an Ao Kwong again. And then Bastet as well. QVO is one of the few people in EU, and he does incredibly well with Bastet. It's crazy.
That's something we completely forgot to talk about. Adjust and Cuvo both love Bastet. That could be something we could see in this matchup as well.
Well, it's going to be exciting without a doubt, people. Are you all in the building ready for this match? Because it's going to be a good one. Enemy versus Paradigm. We'll be back here at the Alienware Analyst Desk for picks and bans, but for now, we toss it over to Sean at the stage.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Smite World Championship Day 3. It's semifinals day. Are you guys ready? Two men who I know are utterly ready. The men standing by either side of me. Payne Diviande, how are you doing today, sir? Are you feeling hype?
I'm about to make $50,000 minimum. Of course I'm hype.
Trix, what do you have to say to that statement?
I mean, I'm excited to play them, and it's going to be some exciting matches. We've been scrimming a lot, so it's definitely going to be some good scrims. But as a wise man once said, let the best EU team win.
Now, Payne, you've been vocal, outspoken, and done an amazing job so far. What's been your secret?
I don't know. I guess when you don't have the Baba Yeti with you, you just win, right? So, I mean, incoming next match, Trix.
Trix, it's only fair that I let you retort.
I mean, as Real said, let the game play and do the talk after.
It's all about gameplay. Now, ladies and gentlemen, while it is important that all of this is on the line, there is somebody who has a special day in your team today, Payne Diviande. Who is that?
Oh, that's right. That's Sweaty.
Sweaty, do you think if we ask, Sweaty will come out? Sweaty, come on out. Come on, Sweaty. Come on, Sweaty. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this isn't part of the regular programming. They're going to shout in my ear, but let's do it anyway. Sweaty, stand here and let these wonderful fans stand here and sing you a happy birthday. I will set the tone, and we'll all do it together. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Sweaty. Happy birthday to
you. Guys, that's what it's all about. It's love, but now it's game time. Shake hands, boys. Let's get this underway. Hug it out. Guys, it is your first semi-final. Make some noise for, of course, Paradigm and Enemy. Let's go!
All right, back here at the Alienware Analyst Desk. It is time for the picks and bans. Paradigm, Enemy, about to go down for the first semi-final matchup of the day. Here we go, folks. It's go time. This is a pressure situation here. Of course, it's all fun and games down at the stage there. But right now, it's business, and Athena is going to be the first one to go in a ban.
Full on target. Take it away from Payne Deviant, his most comfortable god. Forces him into basically Khepri as a second option. An enemy, they already know. Jingten right now, can't let him through for first pick.
Look at that win rate in Xingqian, 78%, and I believe these stats go back to super regionals, is that right? I mean, that's absolutely absurd. You can't let him through anymore. It's done. Jingqian is too good.
Okay.
Is that just world stats? Okay, so 80%.
So that's still pretty impressive.
Yes.
Regardless.
It's even more impressive.
Yeah, more, I'd say, because he's had his
At
nerfs
Worlds,
now. At
80%.
super regionals, he wasn't nerfed. Here, he's been nerfed, and he's still 80%.
And that is going to do. Bologna will not be there. So two solo lane bans there for Enemy, and the crowd goes wild.
This is interesting because we had talked earlier about we thought Paradigm might ban out the Xingqian Bologna to see how deep Salt Machine's God Pool would go. But they're banning him out as saying, you know what, his God Pool does go deep and he's going to pull it out right now.
Zeus going to be highlighted. We actually haven't seen too much play from Zeus this tournament. He's been available a lot, banned a couple times, but not a lot of teams have been picking him. I like the Zeus, especially taking it away from Paradigm, because Lobster very proficient on that god.
Honestly, though, I'm not sure if I like them not giving Agni the Chaos. Agni's such a strong god for him. He plays it so well, and he's so comfortable with it. And we're going to see it switched over here, looking like a Khepri, which, of course, is Payne Deviante's other major god with Athena.
Agni also very good against Zeus because you have the long range, so, you know, maybe they're looking to bait Paradigm into that.
Okay, I do not like the Osiris pick here. I have an opinion about Osiris. He is the novice solo laner god in that he doesn't lose any lanes, he just beats everybody, but when he transitions to team fights he has a very rough time, and that is when you will see the difference between a top tier solo laner and a beginner. You know, anyone can win lane with Osiris, but can you do well in the team fights? So hopefully, you know, Salt Machine shows what you got.
That's going to be Salt Machine's job there, and Giannis will be locked down as well. We saw how effective Giannis has been also for a lot of these teams in his tournament, Adonis.
Trixang looking for his signature Bacchus right here. That is super aggressive support, and it's getting locked in. Also, Paradigm has a lot of global presence right now, so enemies going to have to be careful this game. They always have the World Weaver plus the Janusol to get the rest of the team there.
A lot of mobility and burst. There's a lot of pick potential on Paradigm right now, and that's what I think they're going to be looking for, is like this pick style comp. Jean-Qui going to Chaos, and, you know, Chaos has had a phenomenal game actually against Fnatic with the teleport in, actually held that second active for so long. Very strong here.
I think the Jean-Qui pick is going to be interesting because we've seen two entirely different sets with the Jean-Qui. We first saw Enemy versus Fnatic, where Jean-Qui was incredibly effective, and then we saw Fnatic versus Epsilon, where it was almost useless.
Two jungle bans.
So, you know, how does Paradigm deal with that?
Here's something, too, with the Jean-Qui, though, is we talked about earlier, right? Giannis and Bacchus are actually very good against Jean-Qui, and they can both escape outside of that massive AoE damage.
I do love this enemy lineup, though. Such a tanky composition. And then, of course, throwing in the Surcat to get in a ton of damage. Also one of Adjust's most comfortable gods. And you never have to be worried on the Surcat right now, because even if you use all of your abilities, you have the Khepri to ult you and get you back out safely. So there's no risk right now for the Surcat pick.
This is the perfect draft for a Surcat. I agree. 3 frontliners. And a Cabrakan locked in there. That is, without a doubt, Qvio. Qvio is one of the few people who is stuck by the Cabrakan jungle.
Oh, maybe not.
Or maybe not.
What if it's Bacchus solo Cabrakan support?
Oh,
we've seen Xaylia play
have.
the Bacchus solo before, so this could very well be the Bacchus solo Cabrakan support Thanatos jungle. I just said that all in one sentence. What am I doing here?
This is why I love Paradigm. They're not going to do a Muzen. They won't.
No. Not against the Thanatos. Okay.
He's just having fun on his birthday. Just having fun on his birthday.
Let's see, who does he go
Bakasura.
Nah.
on the whole, though, I mean, this
Imagine he
enemy
misclicks and then
lineup,
just locks that in.
this enemy, Opwash is actually a great pick right now. I do not hate that pick.
Do you think they could go? Okay, no. There we go.
Yeah,
that's what it's gonna be.
Chiron, I believe, had a 100% win ratio yesterday.
All five games he won.
If it continues,
4 in ADC, 4 in or 1 in mid lane.
And then he had a rough day 1, but 71% total. You know, that's a scary god.
All right, this is going to be a good one. Predictions when we go in. Adonis, start with you.
I think Enemy won the draft here, and I think they're gonna win this set 3-2.
Game 1 goes to Enemy.
EU boys, Paradigm all the way.
I think I might have to go a Paradigm as well. All right, we're going to toss it over to our casters, F-Dot, Hindu Man, and Aurora. Take it away, boys.
Thank you very much, Golden Boy. We're here on on the desk. Well, it used to be a desk. Now we're just standing here. But this is, this is one of the more exciting matches. This is really, it's Friday. We're ready to go. It's Saturday. Either way, this is when there's not even a seat available.
Nope, it's packed right now. Everyone seems quite excited, even though they're quite quiet.
For the moment.
There we go. Now, the one thing is here is picks and bans. I think we might see some surprises where Paradigm put these gods.
Surprise maybe. We've seen the Bacchus solo work in competition. We've seen it come out of Xayah before. It's interesting. The match that Bacchus solo we saw out of Xayah, they lost the game, but they did very well. They made some mistakes that I think here at the big stage, they're going to be able to fix.
Cabrakan versus Osiris in lane, if we're going to see that one. Actually, we're going to go into game. Ignore that, let's go.
There we
Game
are.
one.
No more guesswork. We'll see exactly where these gods are going. And as you take a look at Bacchus, he will be played by Trixtank, so nothing too crazy. Kimo Fred in the jungle on that Thanatos, and Xayah will be playing a solo Cabrakan.
Look at that belly flop early from Trix. Quick invade from enemy. They were looking for an early game pick potential at the beginning of this one. Not going to find it though, but they do get some nice deep wards down on this right-hand side.
Enemy looking very aggressive, as you said. 5-man looking for the pick. They wanted to shut the Thanatos down. They watched some of the Chinese games, what happens if Thanatos doesn't get started. They were looking for that.
Yeah, they saw enemy doing this every single day, I think, so they expected this coming out of Paradigm, so that's why Trix was ready to flop away as soon as he saw any members from enemy.
Well, you see what Trixtank did as well. He's actually went right out, didn't buy any items, just wards, placed them down nice and quickly. Enemy coming into this side of the jungle also stops the chance for a potential invade from the Cabrakan and Thanatos combo early on. Obviously, Osiris Circuit not going to be so good in the 2v2 at the beginning of the game if there is any sort of invade.
Yeah, I feel like we're just going to see normal starts coming out from both teams. I don't know if we'll see the straight rush to mid like we did yesterday between the Epsilon Fnatic series, but I think we're just going to see standard coming out from both sides.
I like the fact that teams have really started to pick up these executes. It's something that people were talking about both at home, here on the stage, even in games. Yeah, Thanatos and Alquan, maybe the executes will come in mind against the Khepri. Well, it took us to come all the way to Worlds to actually see it, and the Thanatos is going to be played by Kimo Fred. I haven't really seen too much of him on this character. We'll see how it works out.
Another thing to think about, Thanatos is really strong against Zhang Kui. Executing his Zhang Kui is huge in late game. It's 40% threshold once you get to max rank when you're level 20. Being able to execute, we got to fight him duo lane already.
Only a bit of aggression between the two. The Burp's going to come out level 2, so he's not going to do the stun on that with the minions coming in. Paradigm just going to back up. This is quite unexpected though. Is this lane, should this lane push to the side? I guess it should.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Chiron's very strong and Khepri is also very, very strong in the early game.
So in the middle lane, at the moment, you can just see they're putting the pressure on us. Back to the duo lane for a little bit of fun. But I want to talk about the solo lane a little bit here as well, Aurora. We're going to see the Cabrakan versus Osiris matchup. And in this matchup, Osiris doesn't have the best of times because it is a magical god.
Yeah, Osiris is really, really strong usually, so I think he'll do okay. His wave clear is insanely powerful. Death Toll gives him a lot of healing because his auto attacks cleave in front of him every 3 and 4 auto. So I feel like he'll do pretty well against Cabrakan. Cabrakan, once he starts getting his points in his 1 and 2, he'll start getting a little stronger, but I think it's going to go Osiris' way in the early game.
Well, so far so good for Paradigm and enemy. Paradigm going to swing into the jungle for the back harpies on the left-hand side for the time being. You can see it is Giannis and the Thanatos together, so that wave clearing mid a little bit safer, I want to say, than the side of the Zhong and Circuit.
It's pretty rare to see this Nice get pushed up on her tower, but something we talked about yesterday with Zatman is the impact of Khepri in a lane and how Khepri just almost automatically makes whatever side he's on the dominant side.
Very, very similar to what old Sylvanas used to be when he used to heal the minions, as we tune in with a solo lane trade now, as you'd expect between the two there. Xayah did just hit 5.
Yeah, did you see that? He canceled his tremors right before the stun went off to stun him, so he didn't get punished at all. That was perfect play coming out of Xayah.
So good work so far for the boys of Paradigm and enemy. I expect this game to be a real feel-out game, though, Aurora, as well, between these two teams. No one's going to overdo things too early on. They want to see how their opposition's playing, what they like in lane, and how their composition's going to work out as time goes on. It doesn't really, it matters if you win this game because it's a nice boon, but it's not over by any stretch.
Yeah, I feel like if enemy picks up this win, they're really a good team when they get momentum. So I think it matters more for Enemy than it does for Paradigm, in my opinion. But yeah, like you said, they're just kind of feeling each other out. And they were also feeling each other out in pick and ban, because pick and ban is very important for both of these teams.
For sure. They're both very well known for that.
And don't forget, a lot of these teams have spent a lot of time scrimming each other. So a lot of it is, well, what did they show us? What did they keep in their pockets, etc.
Evo's about to show us something, I think. He's hovering at the fire giant. Sir K's on the way over at the same time.
No vision.
It looks like both teams seem to have an idea that that was a potential play coming out from Cuvo then over the solo lane to try and get the gank onto Salt Machine. So already, Paradigm showed a little bit that they want to try and put the pressure on Salt Machine. And here we go.
Right away.
Engage. He's on his own. Lord of the Afterlife away. Ult for ult.
That's one of the big things about this Osiris versus Kabrakan matchup is those tremors out of Kabrakan are so useful for keeping somebody stuck and making that exit hard to do. But if you're able to just jump away like that Lord of the Afterlife, Osiris will be able to eject almost all of the time.
And another thing that we forgot to notice was that Kabrakan actually started with a purple pod.
Oh, yeah.
That's what made the gank almost possible, but they were both level 5, so it was just an Osiris ult away, and they weren't able to pick it up.
Yeah, that's such a standard start for Zelia with that purple pod. I mean, we've seen him even go ISIS purple pod in that solo lane. He likes to start off with a little bit of extra damage just so he can maybe decide to make those ganks happen.
Left Harpies do go the way of Enemy there. The right-hand Harpies have spawned, and Circuit's in position there. Adjust is going to swing around to a bit of an advantage and experience there, as we may actually see all three of them get that experience again. Enemy doing a good job of sharing these camps and actually controlling them for the most part.
Now, this pace of the game right now, this is all Enemy. Enemy is very happy to keep this slow, steady, calculated pace. Kivo Fred on the Thanatos, he wants to get active very, very soon. The Circuit, on the other hand, let her get some items. So right now, Enemy, it's all tied up, but Enemy, they like the pace of this game.
I feel like Paradigms are really, really strong at team fighting comp, and with Thanatos in the late game, his 40% damage or threshold execute is going to do wonders, because they have 2 Guardians to get targets low between Kabrakan and Bacchus, and they also have the World Weaver and the Janus Unstable Vortex. So they have a lot of burst damage coming out, and Thanatos is going to be able to finish off these low targets.
And the big key here is that they got the Capri, and I think the practice against to deal with the Capri is picking up this Thanatos for the execute, so it's going to get through. The good thing we've seen out of Enemy multiple times is this Zhong and Capri combo.
And also when Thanatos builds the full cooldown reduction, that ultimate is up so often, he'll be able to do pretty much whatever he wants. But we keep mentioning that Thanatos execute. That's really what he's here for. So if you take a look at the build, he's building tank boots. He doesn't really need any extra damage. He's going to be pretty much an ult bot plus a great silence character as the game gets into mid and late.
This is perfect gank time for them, because his purple bot just faded, but he sensed it out. The perfect senses by Zelia right there.
Because he didn't have the purple either, he also played that very far back. You can even see Trix here and Kivo hovering in the wings. Zelia will be letting them know now that
he's baiting him.
I like really that play. Just is going in with a blink. The ult is coming out. The World Weaver's on his way. Zelia will go down for first blood, but can Paradigm turn this around?
Paradigm was looking for the turnaround. Salt Machine's going to take a fall as well. Enemy did a great job at getting that first blood. Being on the board immediately is a very big deal, but Paradigm able to answer.
That Janus ult was crazy. It came straight through, hitting Salt Machine. It just took him out.
Was the bait good enough, though? Was it the right thing to do? Because you gave up first blood there. We see that it was Circuit that got the kill, and on top of that, it was Bacchus that got the return one.
I think he thought they were going to be more hesitant, but Enemy did the right thing going right away. If they chose to be hesitant, he would have lived, and they would have picked 1 kill up still.
Exactly. That is exactly what happened. Enemy had, and that's really Enemy's hallmark. They really just always go in. They are so snap ready to go and be aggressive that bait, it was the right call, actually. Paradigm, they had people in the wings, but they took longer to get there than they thought that Enemy would take to attack. So because of that slight lack of hesitation, like you said, Aurora, Paradigm are the second team on the board.
Early itemization choices here. You can see Bacchus going for the penetration boots here. How do you feel about this, Aurora?
Yeah, I like that. Pen boots on Bacchus makes his ult super strong, and what they're trying to do is get people in the threshold for Thanatos to execute. So I like these pen boots coming out by Bacchus.
I expect to actually see Bacchus initiate when Cuvo's already in the air, and then land the ult early just to get him in threshold range. But look at this, a double root from Pain. Good silence coming out, though, from Cuvo to deny it, but they're still going in.
That's the strength of that silence right there. The chat channeled abilities are just absolutely irrelevant when Thanatos is around. Adjust is still playing up because he knows
he's
the
got
Bomb
in.
Machine's going to make the rotation. Adjust is surrounded, gets stunned out, belly flopped, intoxicated. Here comes Zelly around the corner, but Lobster gets the kill. 2 on 1. Cubo from the top, Cubo from the bottom. Double kill, triple kill for the jungler. It's 5-2, and it's 7 minutes into the game.
You saw it right there. The execute came through, hitting two people. That's crazy.
He hit the double, and then afterwards just cleaned that up as well. We've been talking about Cubo Fred. He's had a good tournament so far. Show me the replay. I need to see that again.
Yeah, Cubo Fred playing out of his mind right away, looking at the Gold Fury, but this is how it got set up. Immediately shuts the Khepri down.
So what happens is Cubo goes in the backside. He knows they're going to re-engage. When Sir Ket comes in here with the ultimate, you'll see it onto Giannis. And Cubo backs all the way out because he knows they're going to initiate. They know they've got the rotation from the team with the World Weaver coming in. Watch where he goes. Round the corner like, all right, I'm not involved. Oh, look how tasty and nice and delightful they all look.
Here it is. The yummy. Execute. 2 for the price of 1, ladies and gentlemen.
And with Kabrakan there with the walls.
Throws down the damage for the triple kill. Cubo Fred comes up on top. That's exactly how you want and should play the Thanatos. And the Gold Fury, we danced around it, but Paradigm was unable to fulfill their.
Yeah, that's right. We did see him try to pull it, but looks like enemy got themselves in position for it. What a good time to be a Thanatos, though, Aurora.
Yeah, the Bacchus hit his ult on everybody as well. Tricks with a phenomenal ult, just hitting everybody, making them all drunk. And I think they just forgot about Thanatos on enemy side. Khepri pulled in, and they all kind of clumped up, and that's why the double execute happened.
And that right there, that's the beauty of this Paradigm composition. What they do is they go ahead and they pick up the Thanatos that executes at 40%, as you said. Well, look at the rest of the team. Giannis, burst. Kabrakan, burst. Trix Tank's ultimate, burst. It's all these characters that are going to annihilate HP pools, but maybe not destroy the character. Well, that's when Thanatos can execute.
Completely agree. And on top of that, what it also does is the burst makes it very difficult for Pain on Khepri to find the right person to ult at the right time. So it puts extra pressure on Pain. Not just that, he also has to keep an eye for Cubo in the air because there's no point ulting someone when you can get executed.
Yeah, enemy really needs to be careful with their team's positioning. If they can position well as a team, they're going to do wonders in team fights. But look at the gold. It's pretty close right now. That's pretty surprising.
Oh, yeah.
Enemy's been farming extremely well.
Well, the first blood went down, but then with Paradigm going for the Gold Fury attempts and not finding it, they didn't get anything else off the back of that fight.
Here's what I'm thinking about. If you're an enemy fan, what you have to be really hoping your team does is adjust to this situation. Paradigm, they just showed their whole card, right? They just showed the whole hand. This is our game plan. It's on the table. So what enemy has to do, maybe spread out a little bit and be aware of this burst situation.
Root comes out, but there's no further aggression there. I see you pointing at the screen here, Aurora. You see the build from Thanatos.
Yeah, look, he's going straight into Breastplate of Valor. Shoutouts to the 2032 build, the Wolfie. He likes to tank Thanatos, so he's probably excited to see this right now.
I mean, this is something that I've been preaching since the character came out. He scales at 60% on most of his abilities, but it's irrelevant. The base damage is so high by itself, and as we keep saying, it's all about the execute, baby.
Cubo managed to steal one of those away against 3 members with that nice little scythe there. You saw the souls actually flowing to him, so you could actually tell that he got it, as you can see just there on your screen. But this composition from Paradigm, it looks like they've let enemy think they win the draft because they've had plans for it in every single lane here, Aurora. They look very comfortable, Paradigm, right now.
Yeah, I really like the strategy coming out of Paradigm. It's perfect. And I was surprised that they didn't ban Khepri, but now I see why they didn't, because this Thanatos combo is working out extremely well.
Patiently waited for it and got themselves in a pretty good position so far. As the game goes on, though, towards the later stages, which side has a better team fight here in the mid to late stage?
I think it comes back to positioning again on enemy's side. If they group up and they get hit by multiple spells, they have a lot of bursts coming out of their team. They have Neath World Weaver, they have Neath Root, they have Bacchus Ult, Bacchus Flop, and then Janus Shotgun. So they have a lot of bursts. Also the Kabrakan. So if enemy positions well, they have a very strong chance of winning the team fight, but if they don't, it's going to go Paradigm's way.
Exactly. Paradigm's composition is also more what I call interactive. Enemies' composition is all, these are just good characters that will fight well, etc. Paradigm have a very specific game plan, and if it all goes well, you see Thanatos double executes and finish off with a triple kill. If it doesn't, you see a lot of empty mana pools, things on cooldown, and dead yellow and black jerseys. So Paradigm have to execute very well to pull this off.
And we see again, there's a lot of dashes coming out of the side of enemy. They don't have a lot of jumps. The only real jump they have is Sir Ket's, and you could also count Osiris Ult, but that's an ultimate, so it's up every so often. So it's gonna be hard for them to get away from each other right away. They can get stunned out of their dashes. They can get silenced by Thanatos out of their dashes, like we saw earlier in the mid-camp fight. Khepri got silenced out of his pull, so they have to be careful with their positioning, with their abilities as well.
Trickstank for me has got a big role to play in this game. We saw it in the early engagement there at the right hand Harpies, and this is why enemies playing a little bit further back now. They realize they gave up a little bit too much, and they just need to hold off for now, let Vicium farm. But Trickstank, he's got to engage, he's got to get big ultimates off, and then he's also going to be relied on for this shell that he's building into against Chaos's Zhonghui in the mid lane during these extended team fights.
One thing I want to bring up too is Vicium can cleanse CC with his, I think it's his one, or is his one? Yeah, and it's his one, and he could cleanse the Bacchus drunk. So if he gets good cleanses off in these team fights, it could be really well. A lot of people forget about that when they're thinking about Chiron.
Is that wise to do that though? Because the damage on that is actually really strong. Does he really want to be using it on his team to cleanse them rather than deal damage?
Well, it depends. If they get stunned out by Bacchus's burp or root, I think it's very, very potent. And also, same with Zalia's stuns as well. Sometimes the drunk could be really, really annoying in fights. So I think the cleanse is worth it over the damage in this against this team specifically.
It makes some sense as well. I mean, also there is a cripple on that just for a second too, so it can stop Bacchus from escaping potentially, or even a Giannis getting through those poles.
Look how much weight is on the right-hand side. Kivo Fred shows his face, brings Salt Machine down to about 75% with just a single death sight.
Well, going back to what you were saying about the cripple, if you cleanse on top of Bacchus, because you want to cleanse either a Bacchus burp or Bacchus stun, you'll be able to cleanse the cripple, or you'll be able to cripple Bacchus as well. So you could get 2 for 1 right there.
See if he can actually pull that one off. This lane over in the solo lane is kind of going as expected. Salt Machine's keeping the pressure on, but Zayla, he's used to these negative matchups. He plays things like Nemesis in lane, where he just sits under the tower for the whole day. A little bit of an aspect of like the old Game Hunter style when he used to play like Kronos in the old days and just get beat down early, but then farm up and get to the team fights. But with his rotation so far to that one team fight we saw, it's really paid off for him.
15 minutes into this one, and it was a pretty exciting early game, which is what Paradigm wanted. We mentioned about 4 minutes in that it was a little slow. Thanatos hit about level 6 before getting involved, but then Kivo Fred made a huge play, but due to enemies' just efficiency across the map and the ability to protect the Gold Fury, everything is all tied up.
I wouldn't say it was just Cuvo Fred. I feel like as a team, Paradigm made the play together. Cuvo Fred just finished the kills, but that was perfectly executed.
He's under trouble, in trouble here. Has to try and take to this guy. He's going to go down out to Chaos, and they do pick him up. A good job from the team of enemy. Thanatos was too far forward. Yes, he's gone for a tanky build, but if you're going to be there alone, you will get bursted.
Yeah, they do have Circuit. They have the true damage coming out of Circuit, so he has to be extremely careful.
And there's a lot of dots as well. So Kivo Fred, even if he makes it into the air, all of these dots on the side of the enemy can take him down while he's flying. He's not invincible.
Well, Kivo's ult is on cooldown while he's still dead. Just did use his there as well. But this attempt at the Gold Fury is going on still. And the boys of Paradigm know it. Trickstank doing what he can, but he's being focused at the moment through space and time. Forces a reset on the Gold Fury. And with Zalia over here with a good wall ult, they're in a bit of an awkward position. But it looks like Paradigm just retreating back. They're happy with his engagement so far.
It's a very interesting decision coming out from NAV. VCM had the Gold Fury down to 50%. Nobody from Paradigm was around. And Paradigm, instead of going for the objective, went for a fight on the backside.
Not going to find the stun, but he does onto Vicium. Vicium beads away and turns to return some damage onto Fumballer, who's very far forward. Backflips into the Madame Zhong and Osiris. He gets bursted. Insanely, he had no support. Meanwhile, the other side, Vicium, birthday boy, gets himself a kill onto Lobster.
Kivo Fred's coming from the back, wants to decides better. He's caught out by the enemy jungle.
Pulls back up.
Ooh, he's going to take to the sky. There's a lot of dots on this Thanatos. Watch his HP turn to 0. Pain Divion gets credit. Enemy takes 2 members out. Make that 3 members out. And they're looking for the gold. It's already dead. Ladies and gentlemen, enemy have a 3,000 gold lead.
Paradigm there, they overextended in that fight. They did well to reset the Gold Fury. They felt like they could continue the aggression. Thanatos was coming back up too, so like, excellent, this is good times. But he just went wrong, or?
I don't know. I think there must have been some miscommunication because Funball flipped into their 2 frontliners, the Zhonghui and the Osiris, so he just got taken out right away.
I think the call was for Vicium there. They didn't find Vicium, so Funballer overextended, tries to get safe, didn't realize the back front line now is behind him. So they get Gold Fury and a tier 1 tower, and now they're looking to steal the Baloo as well.
Yeah, enemy right now super objective-minded, just looking for everything that can take away from Paradigm, which is exactly what they need to be doing. Adjust now about half a level above his opposition in the jungle on Kivo Fred. It's exactly where Adjust on this circuit wants to be. It's all about these items. The Jotens is done, looking for the crit next. Those Deathbanes are about to hurt.
And another thing we saw there, Cuvo died in the air. They have 3 dots coming out of the side of the enemy. They have Sir Kettle, they have Zhang's card, and they also have Kepri's Rising Sun. It's crazy.
And don't forget, Reels can tell you, the Vicium on that Chiron's going to be able to hit him in the sky as well.
Going to cause some issues for the boys of Paradigm. And right now, that was really well played by Enemy. They went behind earlier, those right-hand Harpies. Really good situation for Paradigm, but they played that so well, they've now taken the lead in this game and they're in control. And Enemy, for the most part, they're a team that generally takes games later, Raw. I mean, most of their average games
Double
are
fight over the solo lane. Salt Machine loses half of his HP right quick thanks to control from Zelia, but no chase by the boys on Paradigm.
I think his build choice is quite wise here as well. He went for Stone of Guy because he's going to deal with the Giannis burst and deal with Zelia on the Kabrakan.
It looks like they're setting up a dive here in left lane. Circuit's kind of roaming over there, but I think they just called it off. Bacchus sees him coming into mid, but it looks like it's just going to be a back off by Bacchus here.
They're trying to pick on someone.
Oh, maybe not.
Pressure onto him, but he's got support from Cuvo and immediately adjust, ambushes away just back to safety.
Yeah, I mean, look how much damage Trixtang took from just that small interaction with the Circuit. Everybody's got to start to be careful about this Scorpion.
Justice got himself in a good position, though, right now. He got his crit worked on. He should be looking for that Deathbringer, and then soon the damage will go off even higher as well.
Yeah, another thing to look at, too, for Paradigm, they have a full shell finish for Jean Quy, so that's very strong for them. Yeah. But these team fights haven't been going well for them. They have to get a burst combo off for them to win the next fight.
That's what I was talking about. It's so execution heavy. Enemy on everything has to go in its right spot. Zelia has to drop tremors to control. Trixtank jumps in, etc. Right here, Enemy, they're just going to walk into a tower. Kivo, Friend, and Funball, not much they can do to defend this.
They've got support from Giannis coming in with that portal, though. Trick's going to rotate through with that, as well as Giannis. That was through space and time used there to get him over there. Zelia does have the teleport available. I'm not sure if he's up right now, but he's also being pressured in that lane.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to get his tower taken right here. I don't think he's going to teleport back. He might, but I don't think he'll be back in time. Salt Machine looks like he's going to take the right tier 1 down.
Salt Machine's going to go ahead and push this right tier 1 down. His teleport's up in 15 seconds. So what we're going to see is Osiris takes his tower down, pushes the wave a little bit more, and then teleport over to the left-hand side if Enemy want to push the objective. Already taking tier 1, though.
Cubo's in trouble. He's going to get ulted on there by Chaos. They've got the card on him, too. The dot damage, he's going to continue as the Ghost chase down Pain. They're looking for Cubo. Will they find him? No! He doesn't get hit by the exit. The in-hand misses, too. Cubo survives, but still the pressure from Enemy.
Pain went ahead and caught the escapee, but no follow-up, so the death didn't happen. But it was enough pressure. Enemy can now look towards the tier 2. It's only 20 minutes in, and Enemy's playing like it's 28.
They're doing a good job, though, because they're grouping up and just forcing the pressure onto Paradigm here. Small goal lead, small experience lead for them in this game, but they're starting to just capitalize on the opportunities of grouping as a 5-man.
Salt Machine got caught. Tremors, bounce, looking for more burst, but on the left-hand side, Paradigm helping out. Chaos helps out their friend. Trixtank takes a spill.
But they still try to fight this at Paradigm, and I don't think they should. Paradigm did get the ult off on Trixtank. He didn't get the Intoxicate. So the burst isn't there, and now Enemy can continue running them down. They get the root off. Cubo's in trouble. Giannis's pot is beautiful, though, from Lobster. Getting back to safety.
Lobster always available to help. That's one of my, I love watching Lobster play Giannis because he will go aggressive and deal that damage, but he's always saving these portals for to help out his team.
And right there, he just helped him again. Kepri could have pulled him there, and Cuvo could have been gone. Great portal coming out of Lobster to save his Cuvo's life.
Zelia did just use his teleport to get over here. Meanwhile, on the right-hand side, Enemy abusing the map once again, taking the blue buffer away from Zelia in that lane, continuing to apply pressure, get more experience and gold.
Just looking towards the back. Salt Machine gets hit a little bit by Lobster. Right now it's 5-7, and Enemy, they have the lead. I'd even say they have the momentum. Paradigm, though, they're definitely not down and out, but again, I'm going to stress on this. It's just so execution heavy. It's hard to put your cards in a row in every single team fight.
Well, I don't think it's too hard. They just have to hit a Bacchus flop and follow up. Like, they can definitely do it. They're Paradigm. They're #1 European team in the whole tournament. So
but we've only seen it once.
We've only seen it once, but
we've seen 2 fights. Really?
Yeah, we haven't seen much team fights.
Talk about team fight now. There's a good stun coming out from Trix. Good damage from the unstable Vortex, but just quick enough to get away. And Chaos did a good job of avoiding the damage.
If they're able to do that to Circuit, she doesn't really have a way to sustain. So if they can keep doing that to Circuit and poking her out before these team fights start, it's going to make it really hard for her to get into the backline and pick off these squishy targets.
Free tower going the way of Paradigm. Trixtank taking that tower like a boss, not needing any minions. Just go ahead and deal the damage straight. Enemy walked away from It's only 500 gold. So, I mean, Aurora, talk to me a little bit about that. How important is a tier 1 tower?
It's good for map vision. It makes it so you could rotate around the map easier for your team. Going through mid lane's a lot easier to gold and to fire giant. The gold's good. Gold's always good because it's gold, but it's not the biggest deal in the whole game right now.
Well, gold has been pulled again.
Yeah, enemy thinks gold is pretty good. They pulled the gold fury, maybe just enough to bring Paradigm out of the shell. And Pain's gonna force the issue. Trix Tank associated by himself.
Oh, look at the afterlife from Salt Machine going in, catching the act through space and time comes through, doesn't do a lot of damage. The ghost from Chaos are wrecking havoc. Salt Machine picks up a double.
Paradigm pushed out completely. 2 members alive, but barely.
The one thing that we didn't see the poison spread, and we got
Lobster's being pressured on the tower here, being forced away by Salt Machine. Meanwhile, the rest of enemy still doing the Gold Fury. Lobster should be okay. He's going to pull.
Salt Machine's hitting everything today, and the rest of his friends are just hitting the Gold Fury. Already dead right about now. Enemy's going to put more gold on their side. Taking a look at the graphs. Very quickly, this game has gotten out of hand for Paradigm. 7,200 gold. They find themselves in the hole.
Meanwhile, on the left-hand side, you saw Just was pushing this lane up, ready for a siege on the tier 2 potentially as well. Enemy's still in a good position, health and mana-wise here, to continue putting the pressure on.
Right here, left-hand side, enemy still pushing down these towers. Really haven't seen much of them do anything besides objectives. Cubo Fred caught in the clutches. Great belly flop. Pain Beyond forced to ult himself.
He's still dead when he lands.
There it is. Cubo Fred over the top, looking for the execute.
But what can they get from this Paradigm? They have to continue a chase to find more. They do hit Chaos though, but Chaos turns around. They back out away from the car through space and time from Lobster. Here come reinforcements for Paradigm.
The whole team is here. Cubo gets one, but immediately gets taken out. Trix Tank answers, takes out Chaos.
The wall blocks off Thesian from getting away from the Cabrakan, and the portal is good from Lobster. The follow-up damage is there. Salt Machine is in trouble, and those walls are lasting forever. Lord of the Afterlife away. Backflip from Footballer, and the flop to chase from Trix. There could be a kill, but Solic's so tanky.
He's level 20. He's Osiris. He's full passive. It don't matter.
He's dead.
Deicide for Paradigm. This is what we expected in the semi-finals between EU and NA.
10 across the board. Paradigm do a great job in that exchange to take 2,000 gold off of the lead, and right now they are looking for the Fire Giant.
The Kepri is alive, but he doesn't have any steal potential, really.
Dots! Hey, he's got a dot, okay? He can live a dream.
I mean, we've seen Incon do it.
We got the root steal as
if you
well.
got a tackle like this, Paradigm, this could be close. Pain Beyond is here. He's placing the ward as well. Gives some vision. Teleport is available for Osiris. Oh, the burst is good.
A lot of damage
Pain
coming out onto the guys.
well.
Paradigm in some trouble. Trix Tank about half HP, but so is the Fire Giant. Paradigm wants to force this, but as soon as it just show up, they smell
Enemy's keeping it. Enemy's keeping it. They can pick this up for themselves. This is a smart play by Pain, but Cubo notices it.
Oh gosh, this is a mistake, but Cubo is still here, still keeping the pressure on for his team, but he's alone.
Cubo's ult is already up. Here he is. He's in the sky. Everybody walks away from Fire Giant. I love the way enemy reacts. Still up. Salt Machine playing forward. Cubo Fred being chased up. Fire Giant goes the way of enemy. Beautiful execution. The red team is on top. Trix Tank is on the ground.
Now the mistake has been made by Paradigm. They won a team fight, but they didn't manage to get the fire. They're going to get punished heavily. Cubo is dotted up again by cards. He will fall to adjust. An enemy can continue the push now with Fire Giant on all 5 members.
That was an absolute veteran play coming out from enemy.
No, Pain just took the Fire Giant. That was all Pain right there. That was so smart. His shot calling just came through. Staying on that Fire Giant, he was like, oh, thank you for doing the Fire Giant for me. And he just took it, and they were just able to take it for free after that.
Thank you, come again. An enemy takes that Fire Giant, looks at the right-hand side, takes out a tier 2. Remember that 2,000 gold that Paradigm took away? Well, it's right on back, plus more.
Cubo's still dead for 20 seconds, so they should be able to push this Phoenix down.
There's the Phoenix getting pressured once again by enemy. Now Chaos trying to zone away Zalia from coming around the backside. On the front, you can clearly see Salt Machine tethering people up and being that front line he needs to be, and done such a good job of it so far. He has. Phoenix has finally fallen the first one of the game. Enemy in a commanding position now.
26 minutes in, and the bases have already been started to be broken. One of the big things about that last fight, if you didn't notice, was how much damage Paradigm took from the Fire Giant. 5K. Actually is the number that the Fire Giant did to Paradigm. So because they didn't play, I'm sure Brandon somewhere is screaming, because they didn't play the Fire Giant correctly, that led themselves to being forced off the Fire Giant. And as Aurora mentioned, mentioned, Payne just said thank you.
It was a risky play in the first place to go for it just because of the respawn timers. We were saying, well, it's only Capri, but they had to have more burst damage than they actually had available to them to really bring it down quick enough. They didn't tank it well either, and they got so low that they just couldn't even defend them.
You guys didn't hear? Fire Giant just got a new ability called Double Zeus Salt.
That's pretty much what it was. It felt that way. We just pulled the damage out. So 12 to 10 right now, enemy with the Fire Giant. They've taken down the Phoenix and right. Only a tier 2 tower in the left with about 1 HP remaining.
It's as good as dead.
It's on its last leg, so I don't think we'll see Paradigm look to defend that one. Middle lane has that tier 2 tower. Defense options, though. What is the call here for Paradigm? How easy is it to defend a Phoenix with the team comp they have?
They're definitely going to look to fight on Phoenixes. I think we're going to see enemy go for the towers first and try a Phoenix push before they go back to Gold Fear, because Gold doesn't really matter right now. They're not going to go back to base and use it. So we're just going to see them go for Phoenixes.
I actually really like Paradigm's composition for defending, right? Because for as much as I've been talking about how difficult it is to really execute their composition, the reason it's so difficult is because spreading out almost completely nullifies everything. Well, if you're fighting underneath a Phoenix, you have to be enclosed together. So Trix Tank can knock up 2 people. Cubo Fred can land on 2 people. Enemy made that mistake once early on, and we saw that fantastic play by Paradigm. The only way they can make that mistake is by fighting under a Phoenix, which they have to do.
Well, let's have a look at enemy here. The tier 2 towers have all down the second.
Look for
Phoenix
Trix.
this side. There's Trix. Instant beats from Vicium, though. On the backside, we see Zaylia trying to stun him out. They don't have any follow-up for it now, and now Zaylia gets pulled in by Payne. He's going to take a lot of poke and wall in. Payne to beyond. They're looking for the burst on him. The ult is used. Thanatos in the sky. Is he going to dunk it? Of course he is. Trix Tank doing what he can, but the damage on him is insane. He's been ulted, and he flops into his team, spreads the poison. Lobster is now isolated against the rest of enemy. He will fall too.
Absolutely. Oh, man, it started to be fantastic defense by Paradigm, but a slight mistake on the side of the blue squad spells disaster.
That was all Salt Machine. Did you see all the ghosts? And everybody hit a huge ult in that team fight, just hitting everybody, reducing all their healing and making it really hard for them to come back in this team fight.
Not a surprise they're going to back off. I expect them to go all the way in and look for the kill there, but the players say, nope. They reinitiate, and they were looking for the counter engage again onto Cubo. They're not going to find it. Oh, blinking again from Chaos there. Looking for the pick on football and not going to find it. Cubo tanking up the front. Good sight.
A lot of damage.
He may go for the execute on
Vicium. He's definitely going for it. He takes it away. Vicium will not live. And Paradigm now making defensive set. Unfortunately for them, under their Titan, a little damage has already been done, but it will largely be fine.
Fire Giant is due up soon. You can also see it's worn off on this side of enemy. With Vicium dead for a little bit of time, it does buy a moment or 2 for Paradigm here, Aurora.
Yeah, and the right Phoenix is also coming up at the same time around Fire Giant, so they have to push these waves out if they even want to try to contest Fire Giant. So that's probably what we're going to see coming out of Paradigm right now. And Bacchus is just trying to do his best, but he's a poor little support. But he has the pen boots, so it is helping him.
So we'll just see what they can do here. Paradigm is just going to try and defend what they can. Keep an eye on the Fire Giant, though, because there's a lot of burst abilities on the side of Paradigm to try and bring this down and counter it. So enemy, I expect baits out of them here.
They don't really have that many burst abilities. I feel like the biggest burst ability they have is Unstable Vortex, and also Genesis ult. You could also count Bacchus's ult. All the other, yeah, Intoxicate as well. All their other burst is coming out of Zaylia and Cubo, and it's more like single target. It's going to be hard to hit the Fire Giant with those burst abilities.
Completely understand. Well, through space and time, we've seen it steal many Fire Giants before.
Yeah.
Can he do it again? That'll be the question. At the moment, Phoenix has respawned on the right-hand side. And you can
so is the Fire Giant.
I think the play for enemy here is to go and push that back down first.
They're going to just try to get a ward on it, and I think they're going to try to, like, let him steal with the unstable or just with the shotgun right through the Fire Giant. But it's going to be really hard to do that because look at all the ward coverage coming out of enemy right now.
Yeah. There's so much vision on the right-hand side. Enemy looking for the Fire Giant. And they're going to start. Salt Machine by himself is going to stay in the lane and try and
Can we hover over Janus? I want to see if he tries to steal with his ult.
Keep an eye on the Giannis because at the moment he's the only one close to it. He's across the other side.
No, but they're just giving it up, it looks like.
No desire to even touch that, says Paradigm. The Fire Giant going to go the way of enemy for free at the 31-minute mark. And now enemy have a fire belt around their waists. They're ready to go. After that Fire Giant, they're looking for the win, guys.
Quite clearly, they're going to push down the right-hand side. Weaken Phoenix here. Don't expect too much of a hard defense from Paradigm at the right-hand Phoenix. They will have to defend the Titan, though, if they try and push in. Root comes out, and Trix getting rooted there, and the dodge, but initiating, looking for the pressure on Vicium. That's the call target. He's half health, he's very low. Cubo's going up, and it looks like Visham shut down the backside, but meanwhile, Zalia has been chunked slowly but surely. A Just will secure the kill. Meanwhile, Thanatos did not finally execute onto Visham.
That's one of the big things about that Fire Giant buff, the HP 5. We saw Chiron underneath the kill threshold, underneath 40% HP, but as he waited, he ran away. His HP ticked up. Thanatos unable to find the execute. Left Phoenix being aggressed on right now by the guys on enemy. It's down, and now they have nothing. Well, it's almost down, and after this one, they'll have nothing stopping them besides the 5 members of Paradigm in the base.
What can they do to defend? Well, it's 4 members because Funballer is already dead. They're moving on for the Titan. It looks like North America is about to take first blood in the semi-finals.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Enemy, the team that many people did not expect to even make it to regionals, let alone finals, are making a position to find themselves in the finals of the finals.
Big talking point here, Aurora. What was the big game-changing factor?
Payne Diviande keeping the Fire Giant.
Yeah.
That was really, really smart by him to do that. Just pure bettermanship.
I mean, we had the Gold Fury. First of all, we saw the fight from Paradigm that they won on the right-hand side of the Harpies. Then the Gold Fury exchange, which ended up going enemy's way. And then from there, they kind of catapulted from that.
Exactly. The first, we saw 7.5 minutes in the fantastic Thanatos situation on the guys of Paradigm, but that's pretty much it. Paradigm need to find a little bit more of that. Hey, analysts, why don't you break this one down for us? Thanks a lot. We'll talk to Golden Boy.
Thank you guys so much. Of course, back here at the Alienware Analyst. That's what a game one for this semifinal. I mean, damn, that was a good game. Like, and again, I actually tweeted this. I said, you know, hey, it's no surprise. I don't understand high-level Smite, but even I, as outside as it could possibly be, can appreciate what we just saw, because that was an expertly played game on both sides, and it really just went down to like those minute details, and then, you know, of course, that big swing that ended up happening in the favor of an enemy by getting that first Fire Giant.
Yeah, enemy, you know, they started off strong, and it was clear that their game plan was get Salt Machine ahead, and it worked. You know, the first blood onto Zalia here. I think this is the bait back, right? The double bait back.
This is the first blood,
yeah, they just try and get him there. We actually did see a return kill on Salt Machine, but this. The difference in the solo laners, I think, was the big thing in this matchup. You just saw Salt Machine so much more effective, especially jumping onto Funballer every single team fight. We saw him just completely destroy Neith. Osiris worked so well against her, and we saw that there.
Yeah, I mean, there is a meta for a reason. You know, that's the whole North American aspect, is we have our list of, this is the character that you pick if they're open, and then you pick this god, and then this god, and Osiris was the god to pick in the solo lane, and it definitely showed by how much better he did than Zalia.
I think a lot of it comes down to Kabrakan as well. You know, I talked to Incon you about this. I feel Kabrakan is a very good god if you can get him into team fights. It's just that he doesn't fit anywhere. You know, he doesn't have a great early jungle. He has a pretty bad matchup against most solo laners. He's horrible in the duo lane, but he is still a good god. And unfortunately, I think that for me, Saket was the big factor coming into this one, because she is one of 2 gods who can scare every type of solo laner, whether you're playing tanky or mobile, because she has the true damage. It's her and Ao Kwang, in my opinion. Both of those are very, very good at killing everyone. And I feel that if they're going to run these janky immobile solo laners like Bracken, then they need to get rid of Saket, because it just played out of his mind. Like, how many times did he explode onto the entire team?
That's what's crazy, is we were talking earlier about when we saw Saket play about the poison spreading. We're like, oh, it's just because, you know, it's this lower level play, right? No, this is the best teams in the world, and we're still seeing people like Trixink walk back into his Hunter, and he gave Funballer the bleed.
That was really bad. And, you know, Europe, they don't really play Circuit, and these picks and bans going into game 2 are going to be phenomenal, because we always talk about the meta that develops in a best of 5, specifically when you start losing to these gods that you don't typically deal with. And, you know, we saw, you know, Naja in North America become that target ban against certain players in the middle of a set, and I think Circuit could be that target ban against the Just. You know, Europe, you know, NA bans it anyway, but Europe typically, they just don't even deal with it.
And in the middle of the season, you know, Saket was a big ban, but people have learned to deal with that. We saw earlier in the tournament, however, that Paradigm did actually ban it out against one of the Chinese teams. So, you know, clearly they are comfortable putting it into the ban stage. Maybe they just thought Adjust Saket wasn't that good, which surprises me, because Adjust Saket has been a cornerstone of enemies' play throughout this tournament. So when he doesn't have it, if they ban it out next, which they absolutely should, then what does it just play?
Yeah, I agree. You know, that's his god he's been going to every game, and it's not like Cubo needs the Circuit on the board for him to play, right? Cubo has all these gods that he can play very comfortable with. Thor, he had a great Thanatos game, actually. We saw him with the early triple kill. So there's no skin off of his back. So I say get rid of a Just Circuit and then see what he can play later in the game, because he hasn't really proven that he can play other gods.
Yeah, that Thanatos triple kill was so cool. That was
yeah,
it was
early on.
incredibly well planned out, and I have to say, just very. And we're actually going to take a look at the clip here because it was such a good play, and just seeing the way, you know, the timing of it, realizing that, hey, let me not use this right now, let me double back and just wait a little bit and then go for it. You know, like, it's just to have the wherewithal to do that is just fantastic. And this is not the triple kill, by the way, but, you know, people think I must be crazy.
This was actually
This
the
is the
turnaround
comeback,
deicide
right?
by Paradigm, though. I think we see the Yana snipe come through and the Cabraka ball. This was actually Paradigm's big turning point. Enemy a little bit over anxious. We saw Kepri get picked off at the beginning there. We saw how useful that Thanatos execute could be against Kepri. And right here, too, right? So Pain Dead Beyond actually doesn't use his ult to save Adjust. Because he knows Thanatos is in the air, and then he dies to Yana snipe anyway, and then Thanatos still has his execute for those next two players.
So cool. Really, really well done there. And I guess, you know, we got to talk about the Fire Giant play as well, right? Because, you know, they managed to take him down, right? You know, Paradigm looks great. They had the first play they took out was Pain Devion. Then they decide to chase a little bit to get that fourth kill. Then they rotate over to Fire Giant. But because of that timing, because every single detail counts in competitive Smite, Pain Devion was able to show up and disrupt that and break that down for us.
Yeah, so we saw, you know, the first replay we saw there where Paradigm had the really nice cutoff play. They were able to get it a deicide, but the kills were very spread out. Pain Devion got picked very early in that fight at the tier 2 tower, and then Salt Machine got picked at enemy's tier 2 tower at the last. And basically, you know, the deicide was there, but Pain Devion was able to rotate back and just disrupt Paradigm because they didn't have the damage, or they were tanking it improperly and kept getting knocked up, kept getting poked out, and enemy just played it perfectly.
I feel like the Fire Giant attempt by Paradigm, it was a good call. It was a very knife-edge call, but when you're in that situation, when you are down, you need to go for that play. But I feel like the result that we saw with enemy taking it was equal parts of Pain Devion playing it perfectly. You know, we saw him save the route, so this is forward thinking until the Fire Giant's knockup is coming. So he's clearly tracking the Fire Giant as it goes on, onto Zalius as Zalius gets knocked up. But, you know, in equal parts as well, it was Paradigm's, frankly, horrible management of it. You know, they had Funballer start to tank it when he was low, so he tried to reset it. Lobs ended up getting hit by it, and then Zalius obviously rooted later on, so they just took way too much damage, and the DPS wasn't on it for the entire time. So, you know, shout outs to Pain, he played that perfectly. Also to Fire Giant for killing him, but it's Paradigm really messed that one up.
Yeah, that was a really good shout out to Pain. We saw him, not only did he play the fight perfectly, not only was he saving his abilities for when the Fire Giant used his abilities to combo them together as an extra player, but he also had the presence of mind to pick up the Fire Giant after they had pushed Paradigm out, which then gave enemy the Fire Giant after that fight, and then they won the game off of that.
And this, you know, this team, enemy, they just continue to outdraft, in my opinion. Like Paradigm, I understand what they were going for, but it's kind of the same thing that we saw Eager run against, it was Fnatic in the wild card. They run this Thanatos, but it's a very high execution lineup where, you know, if your Thanatos doesn't get an execute off in the fight, you're almost guaranteed to lose. And, you know, enemy, they play these pretty, you know, AoE centric, but it's very hard to miss their abilities, and they execute their team plan very well.
Honestly, I don't even think it was Cubo's fault. I think Cubo played brilliantly. He had such great executes that game, and he really was doing his part.
Hello? Can you hear me? Hydrate, princess.